use, fair use. I think this is the song I like. I like the hook if this is what I think it is. I like some of the old school stuff. I was probably in elementary school when some of this stuff came out. I'm a 90s girl, but I do like some of the older stuff. Hi guys, welcome back. Yes, this is not going to be a long one. And yes, I show my face enough, no worries. And don't fret over the copyright, people. Do not fret because you know what? If you go on your shorts and you go into add music, there is a YouTube library that will allow you to take samples of music and use it for your channel. Okay, so you're not going to get struck. It's actually um, endorsed, it's promoted, it's encouraged, okay? Because, right now I'm not even monetized. I've been shadow banned so much. It's all good. I'll find my audience. I'll let this ride. And it's funny that you'll see so many bigger channels or smaller channels talk about similar stuff to what I'm talking about, but literally they were emulating so much of my content. And it just goes to show it's just more of an example of what a lot of us have been through throughout our life. It's like more of the same, where people want to, imitate you and duplicate you and think they're going to get the same exact outcome. But it doesn't always happen like that, does it? And, I'm a big believer in God, and that, yes, if you don't have good character and you try to just emulate something without, doing the work or taking shortcuts, and some people think, oh, they'll look at you, make even a tough situation look easy, and they'll be like, oh, no worries, I can do it too if it's so easy. If it was, she made it look so easy. I'm sure, some of you all can relate. But yes, and then when they go do it, it's like at the end of the world, or they're going crazy. It's like, yeah, no kidding, because we weren't moving the same. That's why it's not good to just copy whoever, and you got to do what's best for yourself. I'm actually at the bakery. I'm going to get myself a coffee. This is just going to be like a walk, a Dia Dash production. Although, yes, my name is Diana. Nice to meet you. It's just a cute little nickname, and I'm literally always on the go. I did notice my hair was kind of poofed out with my headband this morning when I did that pre-record. I am very aware that it was sticking out. So when I was done recording, I was like, oh, that's nice. I looked a little bit silly, but the message is the most important thing, right? And now it's getting darker. It's closer to the end of the day. I didn't put any type of, advertisement that I was going live. I probably will generate some type of thumbnail because, I totally love creating them. It's really fun to use the different tools and whatnot. My car is driving amazing. You guys need to count your blessings and just thank the Most High, because there's so many really sad stories. I'm not sure if it was in Philadelphia, but I was like so sad when I seen the story. And this pretty young girl, I guess she literally, guys, like lost control and fell into like an icy lake. I mean, can you even imagine? We think, we're having a tough day. You got grown folks still living at home with their parents crying. It's a bit egregious, to some of us who actually, had to, deal with our responsibilities, or we started young, and it's like, or where we were living, we didn't have, that fortunate situation where, you didn't have to deal with any arguing and fussing, you know. So, there's people who deal with people who may have had a drinking problem or whatever, right? And really deal with some hard stuff, to the point that, I remember being young and having my two kids and literally having to hurry up and get an apartment. I don't want to hear, oh, the rents were cheaper. Well, we were making like $10 an hour, so shut up. It was it was literally in the 2000s, like early 2000s. We weren't making shit either. And the situation was so dire at the time. Of course, it did subside over time. But yeah, I had to move. Hi, welcome. You look cute today. Hi, ladies. Hi, honeys. Came on time because I know you want to leave on time. It's been so long. How's dental school? I'm proud of you. Good. Did you go for your tests? Is it no? You're still stressing because you're studying so hard. Oh, you did? That's so cute. See, that's what it is. That's how you know, you have to be a good persuader. That's the art of life. I'm proud of you. See, you find all, you know, the reasons like a lawyer. You got to think like a lawyer, and then you plead your case. And I'm glad your mom is seeing your side. Yeah, honey. Hey, you guys might go together. It'd be a bonding thing. She'll be like, yeah, you can go only just with me, so I know you're not going too many times. That's okay. Be like, all right.
And then it just says 272.
Oh, I meant to give you cash. I don't even know why I use my card. I'm slow. I literally took my cash out. I took most of my cash out until payday because I am trying to have more cash on me, and I moved it over to another account. I forgot. Well, better this way too. I can give you your tip. Yeah, today was so busy. It was like calls nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. I know. When you're just done talking and thinking.
1728.
Your nails are gorgeous. So cute. We got the little Valentine. Did you get them done? You do them yourself?
No, I get them done.
Yeah.
I go to
Maybe I'm gonna start going.
in Swansea.
Oh yeah.
But she does
I
it
like the
pretty
oval.
cheap.
Yeah.
This was only 35.
Really, for a full set or a
Yeah.
fill?
No, full set.
Oh my God, Regal nails.
Yeah, you want me to go to Jumping?
Yes, please. Because I usually do them myself, but for that price, I might as well just let her do it. I'll come out better.
And they usually last me like 3 weeks.
Wow. You never hear about those prices anymore. Well, I'll definitely support her then. And the area is nice. Called Regal. Her name was it Jenny? Wonderful. And I love that. And I like it just basic too. I don't need anything too crazy. Just a pretty pale pink like that. Nothing too fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I love talking to you girls. You know, you keep me fresh. Always exchanging ideas. Let's see, is this thing working? I think so. Oh yeah, was she? Because she knew, she's like, who did she talk to? She has a lot of facts. Like, how does she have all these facts? You can tell I've been thinking about it too long, so I know exactly, because that's how I used to win my arguments with my parents.
At the end of each sentence, I was like, right? I was like, right? And she's like, yeah, you're right.
That's awesome. Well, that might be your calling. Jeez, I might have to hire you to represent me, you know, in a lawsuit or something. Bye, honey. Good night. Good luck. She's so cute. It's just a young girl that works there. She was trying to get her mom to let her go tan. And make sure you guys like the video. Hopefully I'm not muted. I better not be. It said it was on low. Bye. So cute, orange Chiquita. I had the volume all the way down. Hopefully you guys did hear me because I'm not going to restart this video. And obviously somebody heard me because as soon as I said like the video, that's why. It's kind of funny, guys, on my channel. When I was, you know, coming across like, you know, I'm white welfare and this is Salvation Army. And, you know, people thought that this was like some type of all you can eat buffet. And yeah, let's just pick off this seemingly stupid white girl's page. Is that what I come across? Because joke's on you, right? I think you guys are getting to see my personality over time. And at first when I started, I was, you know, more shy because, that's just been my nature my whole life, right? So when you're online, you have more, like, it's good because it's like your space. So you can, over time, you get more confidence when it comes to your channel, when it comes to speaking to people. And I've been, a lot of people try to take advantage, and that's like more of the same. Like, I've had jealous friends. When I was younger, I had friends try to rob my clothes because I've always had like such good fashion. And, I've been smarter, been downsizing, and also, using storage facilities if needed. I don't keep all my stuff in one place. So if anyone thought they were being funny, and I've just been learning to be that much smarter because I've noticed a lot of people, even people really close to me that said they loved me, would like only be cool with me because they, liked my style. I've always heard that all my life from different family members. I'm a trendsetter, this and that. Okay, cool. But that's a double-edged sword where, I couldn't have certain visitors, friends from high school, whatnot. It'd be very uncanny. And I remember one time I had a so-called friend who pretended she was my friend, right? Come over thinking that I could trust her. And then her brother, that's why, it's, I am not sexist in any way, because I can see how girls can be, very trifling and all of that stuff too. And he's the one that told me she was stealing from me because she was probably bragging about it like a shyster, thinking it was cute. But God don't sleep because her life is, I guess, in shambles right now. So good for her. And he led me to her place. He let me in. And I filled up, I shit you not, I swear on my own life, a whole trash bag stuffed with my clothes. And goes to show that I had so many clothes, and maybe I forgot about it sometimes, but then you start to notice things I'm missing slowly. And then I'm like, okay, this doesn't feel right. Like, where's my favorite shirt? Or where's my this or that, right? And I filled up a whole bag, and I'm like, what a sick, you know what? Okay, so I know all about, people who try to sneak, your situations and all of that. So like, I know who I can trust and who I keep away from my life. And I only share what I need to share, because it doesn't just stop with jealous women. You will get jealous guys. Of course, I met a lot of amazing people. This is no shade to them, but the shitty ones, they know who they are. They come around, they try to emulate whatever, try to act like it was them, and they're so divine and they're so deep, and it's like, whatever, it's like, I wouldn't even know if these people were alive. I'm just living my own life, and it's natural to me. And then it's not to be used for freaking fodder or content for other people to interject, but it is what it is, right? And what, like, I put on my community tab, it's like, if you're going to copy somebody, copy them when they're doing good, or when they're actually being strong, not mocking them when they're doing those things. That's why I think it's funny, because you could have been, maybe when you were younger or whatever, right, getting into stuff, right, or, getting into trouble. We've all been there when we were younger, and you get more endorsement from people around you, right? Because this culture, it's like, yeah, people celebrate each other's, stupidity more than when they're trying to better each other. And, and if you're bettering yourself in someone else's image, that's okay. As long as you're doing it per their terms. But you start moving independent or having free thought, God forbid, you know what I mean, then it becomes a problem, right? So it takes a lot to, forge your own path, right? And then when I try to be, I learned from my past. I'm in my 40s now. I'm grown. I've seen some things. I've learned from some things. I'm still standing. A lot of people thought, God knows, right? They probably wanted to see the worst, because now I see who the real demons were. The ones who wait to see if something happens to you, or they're waiting on that, or when you're trying to be very positive and God has redeemed you and put you back in a situation you were before, the chaos around you affected you, then they want to act really sinister and underhanded and actually try to smear your name. When you were doing Christmases and you were believing all the social programming that they believed in, right? Then it was okay. But as soon as if real stuff will start to happen, God forbid you lose somebody from cancer, or you've seen some mistreatment or whatever, and you have an opinion on it, God forbid. Now it's like they will personally attack everything about you. And I find it pretty hilarious too, because the people that are so tough to judge, I'm speaking from experience too, are the worst ones. The ones who try to judge me for calling out bullshit, picking herbs over poison, saying no to vaccines, even calling out Christmas, which call me every name in the book. I'm talking about sister, you name it, as close as you can get. And meanwhile, you've witnessed them with their infidelity since you were a freaking kid, doing it to their spouse, beating on their sick kids with a stick, right? All kind of shit. And you can't speak on it, right? It's like it never happened, right? Is that it? Because a lot of people, they hide a lot of their sins under the carpet, and they think everyone's jealous of them or wants to be like them. The only thing I learned from my siblings was to develop an eating disorder and to not be accountable for my actions and blame everybody else, because that's all I see they ever do. Okay, so I'm like, really? And etc. and everything else. So I'm like, really? All I learned was neurosis. All right, thank you very much. And people who try to act like they were my parents when I already had a set of parents. So that wasn't very fun, especially when you have a large age gap. So no one's jealous of nothing, okay? And sometimes, having less and having more morale, it is you being a bigger winner than anyone who thinks they have more coins or whatever else they thought, okay? And it can be very hurtful when it's those of your own fold that, you could be the one in the room that have the biggest heart and have the most love for people, that can be in your friends or whatever. We're considered empaths. We can, absorb the energy around us. And sometimes it can be too much. It can affect us. And so, we can come across sensitive or dramatic and things like that, right? And I had it pretty hard because it wasn't accepted, like in my family, like you couldn't get away with living home until freaking 30 years old, or I don't think that would fly, right? And, maybe I guess, if I really gaslit and guilt trip my parents, but I wasn't trying to do that. And I wasn't trying to have my life getting in the way of their relationship. I had a little bit more respect than that. And I was really big on my privacy. Like I really, really freaking wanted that ever since I was a kid. I was the third and I was the baby, and I had no effing privacy, and that shit really sucked. And I needed to have my own space, because a lot of people, especially when you're younger and you have kids young, a lot of people try to break the bonds and try to say no, yes, when you said no. I was really big on not wanting social media or electronics too young. And especially if you're in a divided situation, you're going to find that other people are going to try to bribe your kid. It gets really disgusting. And that's why people think it's funny. Like they thought, oh, it was some type of flex, or that you did it on purpose. And then they go try to live your life, and then they ruin their life, or they make a mess, or they want to kill themselves. Like, yeah, you thought it was easy. No, it's actually pretty hard. That's why a lot of people that are in my shoes that talk the most make jokes and say, oh, if I had a kid right now, older than me at the time when I had one, I would be all screwed up. I would be this and that. I'm like, oh, wow, exactly. So it's good that some people can admit that it is hard, right? And that if you put your mind to whatever, you let God lead the way. I mean, look at poor Hagar in the Bible, right? She was like the poster child for single moms everywhere, the poor thing. And, that should be the poster child to show like, oh, yes, this is how glamorous single motherhood can be. But a lot of people say like, oh, you chose to do this. No, if you're in a situation And yeah, you're dealing with toxicity, and you're the one that's being more responsible, and you're dealing with somebody who's damn near bipolar and stuff, and pretty much embarrassing you. Like, I was living at home for a little while, and I was like, all right, I gave the person as long as I could, and there was uh, fights already going on early on. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to replay the same crap that I witnessed growing up. I'm like, yeah, this can't happen, because I will definitely get triggered. And especially from someone who goes from being like all enamored, right, to just being really jealous, and tried to play with my life once too many times, and hold my kid hostage during visits. I mean, people can be really psychotic, and it's funny how, they'll turn around and try to act like the victim. But if you look at all the carcasses in their backyard, it's not too good. And, people are so quick to copy you, right? When they think you're living a certain lifestyle. But when you try to live right and you try to live respectfully and responsibly, they don't want to copy you then. Actually, they'll call you lame. They'll call you dusty, all kind of shit. It's like, sorry, I'm not like some of your. Oh, hold on, guys. I'm trying to back up my car. Kind of skid for a minute. Sorry, I'm not like, some of your favorite heroes that are like, oh, yes, it's okay if my spouse cheats, do this and that, as long as he pays all the bills. That's so dumb. And I don't need to brag about my situation, but I do like to have my own money, because I know how quick it is for it to get ugly, and you shouldn't depend on whoever 100%. Things could turn around. And not that I have to worry about that. Some of us do like to keep our situations private, and those that we care about. But, we're not, it's definitely not a 50-50 situation, if that's what people thought. But again, it's not something that I'm going to be like, oh yeah, guys, this is how I'm living. That's so stupid. People don't need to be knowing the ins and outs. You know what I mean? It is good to be independent, as much as you can, and to be a team player and to help when you can. I'm buying groceries, toiletries, whatever, but I'm not worried about like such huge things. But if there was an emergency and the person got hurt, you know what I mean? My husband, something happened to him. Yeah. I'd have to like step up. No shit. You want to have something like that way you guys can look out for each other. And it's way better for younger women to, at least either, try to move in with a family member that's your age, or try to take things seriously, right? Because you can get stuck in baby mode and be fully grown and living with your whole grown parents, and unless you're contributing, that really is embarrassing, and that's sad. But now that's like this new like thing now online, where people are sending cash apps to people who are living in freaking bigger houses than them, who don't even have to do shit and have like more stuff than them, and they're sitting there crying like they have it so much worse than other people. It makes me sick, actually. It's like, at first it can be kind of like, oh, it can be interesting to see, someone rant. But like at some point I'm like, yeah, you need to freaking stop that right now. And then you see people actually going through it who don't even speak on it, or who did, and nobody even cares. Or something like my channel, I was given free information, so much so that I was saving people thousands of dollars on certain processes. But now I'm like, hell no, that's all monetized now. Okay, there is no free, you're not going to pick off my bones, because I will give freely when I can. But the way that I was treated, and the way some people were trying to gaslight my work when I was trying to pull my own weight and be like, all right, if I'm going to be on YouTube, let me give something of value to chit chat about, something that can help people. Let me throw some nuggets out there. And it's like, half of the time, people wouldn't appreciate it, or they were trying to size me up in a different way and act like total creeps about it. So I'm like, all right, no more. Because, God speaks to me too. You can act like, oh, you have monopoly on God. You do not. But I got that little inner voice that was like, yeah, no, you need to shut that down and stop being so generous to people who don't appreciate it. They won't support some of our efforts, especially some of us who have experience, who've been through some things, who have a perspective. But then, the people who didn't even start life when living through their parents, basically waiting for them to die so they can pick off their bones or whatever they can. right? Because they're not trying to get it for themselves. They refuse to humble themselves to even try to find a mate. So they rather just suck off their parents' teeth. You know what I mean? And people online are like, oh, you're so great. You're so brave. Brave for what? You know what I mean? Like, what do they even do? But I think people just like to see people in pretend precarious state while they're in their freaking million dollar property or whatever. Like, pretty much like, you know what I mean, making a mockery of people actually struggling. And then when you got people who are actually giving out real content, they were getting shamed, and that's why you're in the upside down, and people look at things freaking opposite, and they're messed up in the damn brain. Okay, because then you got people just talking about fluff, or a bunch of gossip 24/7. And a lot of us were revealing all of the pedophiles in Hollywood. You think anybody cares? They were right there promoting them. So don't act like you didn't hear it from many, many messengers, especially I was on here probably 2018, 2019, whatever. And a lot of them, maybe 2020. I have to look back at the dates. And nobody bat an eye. Oh, you're going to let all these years later and all the more millions of victims, right? And now all of a sudden, because Trump, your master, is saying, oh, we're going to read the files now. You know how many things have been covered up since then? You don't think it's all a damn scam? How many more freaking victims were created since then? And because some of us were too lower level and it wasn't heard, wasn't believed, a lot of the process, now all of a sudden people like, yeah, they try to gaslight you, like, yeah, show us, show this, do that. Like, you know what, I think there was a small window for some of that stuff to be shared, and that window has closed. Okay, the people that were meant to learn it learned it when they were supposed to. Okay, a lot of you all, instead of heckling and shucking and jiving and being jerks, could have used that time to be for real and learn and actually be blessed with a lot of information, probably a lot of free information. Anyone who's worked with me knows I always went above and beyond. That's fine. And I got to the point where I was getting gaslit so much and people were playing games or talking shit. The people that already reached out to me, you guys, can reach out to me if you guys need any follow-up, any continuing, those who supported my channel, bless my Cash App. It's Diana-7, and PayPal, it's Dia Dash. Those who have supported grassroots journalism, if you go back many different topics, spanning so many things, creating waivers for people, well, all kinds of any type of knowledge I had, I was sharing. But you know what? Yeah, pearls to swine. And that window that it was there, that redemption window where people learned, and that we were working on, and we secured our estate, and we did all those processes, which is still like a huge minority. I think that window freaking closed. And now if people want to learn stuff, yeah, they can go dig the needle out of the haystack. A lot of us are not doing that, because look at those that you were supporting. You're supporting those who are, bragging in your face, or those who brag that they already got it, flashing all these cars and all this. All right, they already got it, but you're still giving your money to that. Okay, keep funding that. And that's why shit is going the way that it is. And that's why a lot of us are just not going to be imitated by a bunch of scarecrows. And yeah, try to imitate people without learning for real, and see how the effects are. It's not going to be the way you thought if you don't have the right spirit. And that can be anything in life, because if God got you, you can see an obstacle and it can be insurmountable, almost impossible. I've been in so many situations like that, and he has pulled me out of it. And I know that there is a God, and I will go down and have him in my heart. And I had to live for him in my life. Okay, so it takes a lot to just talk the talk and walk the walk at the same time. And a lot of people, they were mocking, they were throwing stones, they were doing everything that they did to Jesus, right? Now what they're doing, they're calling out women, trying to make them feel bad. Yeah, cast the first stone. What did he say? Did he condemn the woman? No, he didn't. So everything you all are doing is freaking contrary. And he did get mad sometimes. He called out the freaking money lenders. He called out the banks. He called out a lot of fraud. So a lot of things that we were doing were on the right track, and a lot of people were shitting on it. And all of a sudden, those same freaking donkeys are on here trying to cackle about similar shit. Yeah, whatever. Keep it up. It's all like a masturbatory fest because you guys are too late to the cookout. Okay, a lot of us were already cooking, and then we just sat back and see who is gonna be hating, and that's fine. So that window is closed for those that need to learn. Do it on your own time. Don't care. For those who are already part of my channel supporting, you know, you guys can reach me at dia-at yahoo.com. I have a 4-star passport. That's really great credentials. I have separated from the 14th Amendment jurisdiction, so I am considered a state national, but I stand on the Bible and natural law. So, you know, I know my rights. I know how to, you know, also work in the commercial sector as well too, in my capacity as an executrix. Okay, silly rabbit, tricks are for kids. Yes, I have all my terminology down. And yes, the most important thing you can do is start reading, start investing in books, and instead of, you know, supporting the wrong people, actually invest in some of your own damn education. But no, not that. Or the people that actually were doing community, almost like a community service, a voluntary service, because that was part of my ministry too, to share. But I'm just gonna save it on some of my other forums. I'll kick you guys a little tidbits here, but because it wasn't, you know, received the way it needed to receive, I'm like, yeah, I could see the door was closed on that, and that's it. Because people were led to it. It was a spiritual awakening at the time, and you can tell who the real ones were, because, you know, as God would say, you know, those know me that, you know my voice or whatever. And so we knew that was like a divine thing that was going on, and so, you know, we acted accordingly. And those who mocked it, just like they did when he walked this earth, however you want to see it. I know some people even shit on his name to this day too. Whatever, that's on you. But this was a redemption process, and there was a lot of analogies with the New Testament too, and all of that in regards to it. And you know, so, you know, people have you know, realized what it was, and those who needed to hear heard and received the word when it was there, and are just building on it now. And I think those who were smart enough to start doing their research then, just be private about it, like they say, public and private, and just keep moving accordingly and keep building up your arsenal and your spiritual arsenal, and stop worrying about you know, saving other people when they're willfully jumping out of the boat. Like, what are you doing? Are you going to stop your ship because people are jumping out willingly, willy-nilly, and when you're trying to throw a freaking life rafter and stuff, they're freaking throwing it back at you, talking shit? No, you just got to keep it moving. That's how I look at it. Have a blessed day, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Stay well. Until next time.